Abductions have become the norm of the day in this country. Few days can hardly go by without hearing a family complaining that one of their own has been abducted or has gone missing or has disappeared. This thing goes beyond abductions to enforced disappearances, illegal arrests, and killings. And when did these extrajudicial things start happening in the country? They started in the month of June. They started on the month of June during anti-finance bill protests. That's when so many protesters, who are mostly young people, went missing. And so many bodies were dumped in different places, dump sites, quarries, all those places. And now, with the recent abduction of Boniface Mwangi, who was abducted on Sunday, and by the information that was given by his wife that he was abducted by people wearing hoods or masks, that you cannot identify them. That is chilling, right? We have also seen politicians, activists, the clergy condemning all these abductions or all these extrajudicial things that are happening in the country. Now, with all these extrajudicial things happening in the country, who can be held responsible for them? The only person who can be answerable by all these abductions, and we have seen people, even the clergy, we have seen the activists, we have seen so many people telling the president to look into this matter, to put to an end all these extrajudicial things. Remember, President William Ruto is the head, or he is the commander-in-chief, or the head of the government. So everything good or everything bad that is happening in the country, people will hold him accountable. And let me give examples. When Moi was president, under his 24 years rule, people only describe his era as the dark era. Remember, Moi had his deputies. Nobody remembers his deputies. They remember Moi because Moi was the head of government. Kibaki, all the good things that Kibaki did for this country, nobody attributes that success to Honorable Raila Odinga or Kalonzo Musyoka. Remember, Raila in that government, coalition government, was the prime minister and Kalonzo was the deputy president, the vice president. And nobody remembers them. We only remember Kibaki because Kibaki was the president. And everything that was happening in the country back then was tied to him. The same case with the Uhuru era. And right now, we are in Ruto's era. With all these abductions, extrajudicial activities happening, President William Ruto will be tied to these things in one way or another. And that is ruining his reputation. Remember, during campaigns, William Ruto promised that no abductions, no forced arrests, or enforced disappearances, or illegal arrests, or killings will happen during his term. But right now, what we are seeing, it is happening. Yeah, and the president has remained silent about those things that are happening currently. And we need to look also why these things are happening. They are happening because many people are feeling that the economy of the country is oppressing them. Okay, they are feeling the high cost of living is too high. It is choking them, and that their complaints are not being heard by the government. On the other hand, all these extrajudicial activities are happening. People from different quarters are calling to the stop of these extrajudicial things. But at the same time, nobody is listening to them. there's a general feeling that the government is not listening to its people. And who is the government? The government is President William Ruto. As much as maybe the president may try to detach himself from what is happening, it will be very hard for him, because he can sit down, he can try to explore other avenues to address the issue of cost of living and these extrajudicial activities that are happening. But a silence means a lot. It means that people are feeling that the president is ignoring them. All right? And that explains why these protests, even if these abductions will continue, all these extrajudicial things will continue happening, protesters, demos will continue to be experienced, because people are fighting for what they are believing is right for them. And on to the other hand, for anybody, including the president, the IG, going down to the chain of command, they should be worried, because maybe in one day, they may be held accountable, be held responsible for all these extrajudicial things that are happening in the country. And I want to say that nobody could have thought that Moi, back then, that he could be out of office. The same thing with Kibaki, Uhuru Kenyatta, and now it is Ruto. William Ruto one day will retire. And remember, people hardly forget. It may seem like people are forgetting, but people are not forgetting, and most of the Gen Zs. And the Gen Zs, they have the age factor. And now with the way things are changing in this country, remember, we are being governed by the 2010 Constitution. And maybe before President William Ruto retires, maybe we shall have another constitution that will help govern this country better than 2010 Constitution. That will call for more accountability from the leaders. And maybe his file and the files of anybody who is being involved in all these extrajudicial things may be held accountable in one day. And that's the reason why I'm thinking that the president should address these extrajudicial things that are happening in the country. They are bad for him and they are bad for the country. And remember, his popularity is going down day by day. It's hard for any gathering in this country to end without people chanting, Ruto must go, even in clubs, everywhere. Ruto must go. The general feeling is that President William Ruto, is not listening to the cries of the people. People are feeling that the president has turned away from them. These abductions, these extrajudicial things that are happening in the country may one day catch up with President William Ruto, and maybe the IG of the police and anybody who is executing that, because the traditions of this country are changing in terms of governance, and even the way people are demanding accountability from their leaders. That is my thinking. I could be wrong.